Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Monday, October 15th. We're still on the European account. We need to get at least one victory with a major shaman. So let's hop in here and see if we can actually focus and play on a game before I even start to cover the news. It may get down to the point where that is just how it's gonna go. I'm gonna have to figure out in my mind to just put all my focus on a game to get at least one victory. There may be a silent post show after today because I need some stuff to get done, certainly. But before, it wasn't going too badly. Still have a decent amount of news, probably more than an hour's worth of news. I think what we'll end up doing is more and more I'm gonna leave stuff behind and hold on to it for the next stream. Particularly, well, my complaint was that on Mondays there wasn't there wasn't enough news because the weekends weren't getting games on Steam. But maybe that's not really the case because I'm clearly right now running into issues. Well, I think I may get a victory here because it seems like this player is not going to play. Okay. So we play this, we play this, we play this in the turn.
Time goes short.
See, I'm just gonna stay here. I could probably do something, cover a game in the meantime, but did not end up that lucky. 1-1 with Rush. Let's see. Play a taunt. Go here, and here, in the turn. So he's now gonna start playing. Let's see. We'll get rid of that minion and play. Ideally, what I want is to make it to the 10th turn and have 2 bloodlusts, which seems pretty doable. These small, non-threatening Murlocs and elementals and totems probably would have enough to kill in a 1-turn hit. Okay, play this. And in the turn. Well, next turn I could probably play this 1 Bloodlust and do a decent amount of damage, but is it enough? Or should I wait? Okay, well, we can do this and that. Keep this one alive, I guess. Guess that's what I'm doing. Or at least make him spend 6 mana to kill one character. Play this next turn. So now while he's struggling to kill Baron Geddon, I can work my way to playing these characters. Let's see. 3 damage.
Stormy, stormy.
I've got 2 bloodless.
Stormy, stormy.
I don't think there's any other cards I could play. So that would make this do 9 and 9, almost enough damage if this one could kill this one. And then I could play this to get it down a little bit more. Summon 2 1/1 microbots or deal 3 damage. Let's do this. Hope for the best. Hope for the best. Hope for the best. There we go. I think I've got it unless he can kill me in this next turn. I'm just gonna have to hope. This works. This works. And that. Yeah, I'm not willing to do the math, so just hope that works. And what do you know, if I actually pay attention and don't jump around and cover the news, I can actually get a daily quest done. Although, to be fair, it was the 50 gold daily quest, so that was the wrong one to get done anyways, but whatever. I could challenge a friend certainly to get more victories, but let's just now reduce it back down to token druid, play on casual, and start covering the news again. So we've got a game on Steam called Spacefarers, which looks awful. It's got the black bars on the side telling me it's not widescreen. You've got this pixel animation, extremely low effort game. This isn't the kind of game that would probably fail you in a computer programming course if this is the project you turn in, unless you are literally in a course with a teacher that knows you have literally no artistic ability whatsoever and they don't care. That's one of the reasons why you should always investigate any kind of vocational school, particularly for video game programming. If they don't have a graphic arts design courses also that you can partner up and team with somebody who can actually make your game, your programming look good, well, you're losing out at the very least on some experience that you should be getting in college. And generally speaking, I guess if you're If you're not doing a lot of projects in a video game programming college curriculum, you're probably not having a realistic experience anyways. Nobody should be getting trained to be an indie developer at a college. They should be getting trained to work with other people. Let's see. Guess I could kill this one. I can just attack.
Job's done.
This game is in English and Polish. It's 25% off for $3.74. This is a joke. Like, this is a level of quality of games that I think probably would fit into Steam's description of straight up trolling, when you're asking for so much money and you're offering such a bad looking product. I think that at a certain point that does just fall into their straight up trolling description. Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam called Refight Burning Engine. It's 60% positive at 15 user reviews already. Free to play strategy game of some sort. Looks like it's a tank game, but clearly multiplayer only, so it's not something I'd ever play. Early access, free to play, and clearly people don't like it. And what are the languages in this? English and simplified Chinese, so I would assume this is a low effort Chinese game. A couple Trents. Next we have a game on Steam called Tiny Tassie Town. Early access casual RPG. It looks a lot like Dragon Quest simplified, like a cheap ripoff of a Dragon Quest Builders style of game, which is a cheap ripoff of Minecraft. But I bet this company has nothing behind its name. It's in English and simplified Chinese. It's early access for $11.99, which is pretty expensive. And yeah, this developer has never made anything else under that name. Surprise, surprise.
For the wild.
Come on and load. GameIndustry.biz has an article. The UK charts physical Call of Duty launch sales lowest in 11 years, but it's the biggest digital launches in Activision's history. So clearly everything has flipped at this point. The first weekend UK box sales of Call of Duty Black Ops 3 are down almost 50% compared to last year's Call of Duty World War II. Now, I may be mistaken here, but wasn't Call of Duty World War II also including some highly popular older version of the game that had been remastered? Maybe I'm thinking of a different game. The sales are also down 59% compared to with its direct predecessor 2015's Black Ops 3. It's the weakest start for a boxed Call of Duty game since 2007's Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. I'm thinking about maybe that was the game that no, I guess that wouldn't be the case, would it? Let's see, draw a card. Draw a card.
The scourge will devour all.
Let's see. Remember, I'm fairly certain that this Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is also the one that was highly controversial, so no surprise that a lot of people aren't interested in it. Although I'm not sure how much of the lack of interest is really the controversy with the historically inaccurate female character, and how much of it is just that people are tired of Call of Duty and they've got Destiny and they've got other games that they can play. Kill this. GameIndustry.biz continues, these figures only include physical units, so they do not figure the sales of digital downloads, but also you could argue that maybe some digital downloads are straight up lies. Let's see. Activision has since revealed that Black Ops 3 is the biggest digital day one launch ever, and that on day one a total number of people who connected online to play Black Ops 4 is increased from last year's release. Even without digital, Black Ops 3 is still the second biggest box launch of the year behind FIFA 19. I guess that's coming from that company and not from everybody. It's also the earliest launch for Call of Duty for over 2 console generations. The game usually arrives in early or mid-November. That probably is a big reason for a lack of sales on it also. GameIndustry.biz continues to say, therefore there's still several weeks for a game to improve its performance. I don't think video game sales quite work that way. I don't think you can say, well, usually we release our game at this point on the calendar, therefore if we release it early we'll get more sales because we'll get the same amount of sales at that point. Anyways, like, and I don't think you can believe in that magical thinking. I'm not getting the cards I would like to get. That was a mistake. I should have hit that one, and then I should use this. 58% of sales were on PS4, with 41% coming on Xbox One. The remainder was PCs. So 99% allegedly of the sales are coming on console, which is questionable, coupled with a 25% decline in box launch of FIFA 19. Quarter 4 hasn't gone off on a strong site. There are still several big launches to come with Battlefield 5. Maybe I'm confusing Call of Duty with Battlefield 5 too. I probably am. The two games are so unimportant to me. Battlefield 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Fallout 76 all coming out pretty soon. And WWE 2K18 came out. Although, wouldn't that be WWE 2K19 that came out? Yeah, it's supposed to be 2K19, and even the chart says 2K19. People need to edit their articles better. Well, moving on.
Speak your peace.
I should probably just concede at this point, but...
Hey, catch!
For the wilds.
Well,
Let's see, we have a game on Steam called Cold-Blooded Cube, which looks like it's a simplistic black and white cube puzzler game. Nothing here that looks very interesting. It's probably a troll game, looking at the gun that is here, too. 4 achievements, 40% off for 59 cents. Yes, this does not look like a good game. The publisher doesn't look like they published anything that drives me away from the idea of it being a troll game. Alright. I suppose at this point I need to move over to the European account. I mean the Asian account. I'm already at the European account. Just because, well, just to get at least one thing done. I'm not sure if I'm really going to do a silent post show or if I'm just going to play off screen. More and more I feel like it's kind of an unnecessary thing to
Come on in.
to do silent post shows. Well, apparently something is off on the Asian account, so hunter class cards or 6 mechs. I think I probably could play 6 mechs quicker. So let's re-roll this. Let's play priest on the Asian account. I must have had a watch and learn or something, but then I would have had a pack, wouldn't I? Yeah, I have no idea. I'll just play this. We have a game on Steam called Legend of the Dragon Labyrinth. This looks like a bad, low-effort RPG Maker. This looks like maybe it's the newer version of RPG Maker, going towards that 16-bit Super NES artistic style. Honestly, this may not even be an RPG game. This may be a Bomberman clone or a Pac-Man clone. Whatever it is, it's too simplistic. It's English and Russian, 10% off for 89 cents. And let's see. Yeah, it doesn't look like any of these other games are very good. And I believe this name is recognizable as a troll publisher. Yep. None of those look like they're real games either. There's a mech, so I'll hold on to that one. Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam called Blitzkeep Unleashed, which claims to be an early access indie RPG, although it seems like it's a RPG or maybe a pinball meets an RPG. So it's a dash attack top-down game. That might not be a terrible plot for a game. Seems like you get into some special battles eventually. So there's dungeon map, there's an interface that's been drawn here, there's an overworld map, there's a shop, there's leveling up. So it's a ricocheting RPG game. This is not inherently a bad idea. Early access, 10% off for $8.09. So then the question is, has this developer made anything else? No. So I'll keep this game on the wish list and just see how people feel about it. See if it gets enough reviews. Gematsu has an article, Resident of Fate 4K/HD edition for PC, high-res textures to be released as a free DLC. So the game size totals 83 gigabytes with the texture packs installed. So if you own the regular version of Residence of Fate that I think is on Steam.
Nature will rise against you.
You're
What is my purpose?
trying to squelch this character. It says, since the PC version was originally required about 83 gigabytes of space, releasing high resolution texture separately allowed them to reduce the space required to play to only 16 gigabytes. So you can play the game with the regular texture graphics for only 16 gigabytes, or you have to spend another 60, what would that be, 67 gigs of texture files. Not really surprising. That's the way a lot of games are going. That's going to be harder done than SSD, certainly. Let's see. I'm just going to end my turn and try to have a full hand, and then play this, and play this. Next we have a game on Steam called Finding Light, a grayscale hand-styled RPG. It says female protagonist, retro. The problem with calling it a grayscale is it's a Game Boy, basically an original Game Boy style game, which inherently I just don't think this is a good art style. I don't think it was a good art style when Game Boys were out. It was just the only thing you could do. It was the best you could get. But there's no way I have any nostalgia for looking at a game through this lens. This game is 25% off for $7.49. That is really, really expensive considering. This developer's made one game that got kind of highly reviewed. It only has 22 reviews. But sorry, this is just not visually appealing. It really isn't. So closing that tab. Let's see. Next we have a game called Toho Dreaming Butterfly. It's not in English, it's a bullet hell shooter game of some sort. Flashy and busy, but of course simplified Chinese only, so who knows how good it really is. $14.99. So clearly I can't put that on the wish list. Okay, if you're holding a dragon, deal 3 damage to all other minions. Trying to do this as best as I can and really win. Next we have a game on Steam called VR Party Club, which looks like it's a tabletop simulator, maybe in VR. Maybe this is a good game, maybe it isn't. VR fun, 1 to 4 players, party, throw, roll, shoot, and slice through. I don't think this really is a tabletop simulator where you can play known games. I think instead it's going to be a collection of mini games that look like tabletop games. And the more I look at it, yeah, I don't think this looks entertaining enough for what they're offering. Early access requires VR, $14.99. That is a big ask for a developer that's made nothing else. Okay, let's do this now. And in the turn.
Your magic shall not save you.
He's just been sitting on a spellbreaker. Next we have a Chinese game, almost certainly called Death Voting Game. It looks like it's probably a low... Well, it's got a little bit more polished. These are actually pretty nicely drawn characters for a visual novel. And I assume the story is probably horrific and macabre. But again, no English support, only simplified Chinese. Free, so I guess the price is right. We are still definitely feeling the issue of games not being approved in China, and then the Chinese audience having to try and find another place where they can get their game sold. 3 damage or taunt, and let's see. Taunt to deal 2 damage to everybody else. Actually, let's see. If I do this, this will draw a whole bunch of cards. Didn't move fast enough. Let's see. Okay. Don't that open. Tech Raptor has an article. Update: how to make sure your PS4 doesn't get bricked and what to do if it is. The update says, though there's been no public announcement on the, of a fix for this issue, when asked to the PlayStation support Twitter account for the UK, responded that the issue has been resolved and that it wasn't technically breaking any PlayStation 4s, just forcing them into a crash loop, which, okay, then that's probably a true statement. Technically true.
What is my purpose?
The Ask PlayStation UK support agent then listed the internal recommended steps for resolving the issues. Let's see. It says delete the messages on the PS mobile app, go into safe mode, use option 5, console back to normal. Is the recommended thing. So that's, hopefully everybody has now been informed on the way to fix that problem.
I comply.
Just kill that. In return, we have a game on Steam called Dungeons and Diners, which would be an interesting name. Unfortunately, it looks like a MS Paint level, just really awful looking, low effort dungeon crawler game that I heavily suspect is not in English at all. It's probably a cheap Chinese game. Yep, simplified Chinese. Early access, 99 cents. Who would have guessed? And so many of these developers have never even thought about, I imagine, putting anything on Steam. But like I was saying before, their games aren't getting approved on Wii Game in China, and so they have no idea what to do.
Pain, speak to me.
Let's see. I guess heal this. Only have a few more games to talk about, and I'm gonna check to see how long I've been going, and then I think we're just gonna kind of wrap up, and I'll play some stuff off screen. Just because I don't really feel a reason to do a silent post show. 2 damage to everybody else, or silence all enemy minions and draw a card. Silence all enemy minions first. Give this +2/+2. Give this that. And let's see. Heal this there. And just attack here. Attack here. I think I'm gonna lose anyways. Next we have a game on Steam called Shepherd Fairy VR Damaged. That's a mouthful, certainly. Seems like there is a newspaper called The Damaged Times, and problems diagnosed, damaged, and repaired here. Seems like this is almost a artistic presentation and not an actual game. Seems like you're really just walking around. Shepherd's Fairy work has been transformed into a virtual reality experience for the first time, when he will share his thoughts and methods behind his work. Experience his most ambitious show, aptly titled Damaged. Okay, so it's an art show in VR for $4.99. That price is not terrible. Unfortunately, this developer has never made anything before, and I don't know who Shepherd Fairy is. He could be a world-renowned artist, or he could be a nobody pretending to be a world-renowned artist. It's hard to tell. At first glance, his art doesn't look that interesting or that prevalent, so it really looks like you're probably paying $5 for less than 30 pieces of art, and who knows how close you can get to that art, or how impactful being able to virtually get close to the art actually matters. Alright, that worked pretty well. So I'm just going to close that tab, particularly just because it's a VR game. I don't really have to worry about it. Next game we have on it here is Mind Labyrinth VR Dreams. Another VR game. A lot of VR games coming out today. More to my theory that there are specific categories of games that are handed to specific people, or there's one person who approves all the games that come on Steam, and they look at VR games for a week, and then they approve those games, and then they look at visual novel games for a week, and then they approve those games, because they do seem like they come out in these weird thematic bundles instead of a more varied thing. But that could just be like a bias in my own perception. I could be making lines and patterns that literally don't exist. This is a slightly interesting artsy 3D environment game. Let's come over here and play a little bit. So this Mind Labyrinth VR Dreams is a massive $24.99. That is way too expensive to consider. VR games are already too expensive. And when you look at the other two games this developer has, one is a bundle that has mixed reviews, and one called Mind Unleashed that's 50% positive with 22 reviews. That's just, it's unreasonable in its price. Particularly since Mind Unleashed was $2.99, and it had mixed reviews between the 22 people that bothered to review it. that is way too expensive. And I wouldn't be surprised if Mind Labyrinth VR Dreams is just a repackaging of Mind Unleashed, or very similar. Alright, we can do this.
Any of you.
And in the turn. Next, we have a game on Steam called Dreadnought. It's 59% positive with 530 user reviews already. It's a massive multiplayer free-to-play game, so it's already off my list. Seems like you're flying ships, and the graphics look good. I'm a little surprised it's at mixed reviews for the way it looks, because this is pretty good looking. So I'm assuming that it's either full of microtransactions or just a terrible frame rate. Third-party account required. Let's scroll down and look and see what the reviews are complaining about. Seems like the one performance survey says it's all good. Let's see. The underlying premise of the game is fun, but there are massive balance issues they've simply chosen to not address. The lump Tier 3 and Tier 4 shows together are the same imbalanced matchmaking process that oftentimes has you and a bunch of Tier 3 ships facing down a full group of Tier 4s with no hope of winning. Couple this with the fact that the advancement and improvement of your own ships is much slower when losing matches, and you get a system where this terrible matchmaking not only makes the game less fun, but also makes it take you that much longer to even get better gearing ships. Terrible choices that have been ignored for far too long before bringing this to Steam, and it looks like nothing has changed. So apparently this game was available previously before it was on Steam, and it had problems that the player base felt were not addressed. Alright, let's hope this works.
Is someone injured?
Next, we have a game on Steam called Marble Race, which this is clearly going to be a simplistic Unity game. It actually has a more polish than you normally would see for these marble games. I don't know, I might be willing to look at this one. It's single player and multiplayer, English only. Early access for $6.99. What would get this on my wish list is if this game is by a publisher or developer that has any credibility behind them. If they've published anything else. Otherwise, it's not making it. And so there we can see they've developed and published nothing else. So yeah, even though this looks a lot better than some of the other Marvel-esque games we've seen, and maybe, very possibly, I'll see this in a speedrun stream over the next few years, because this really does look very much like Marble Madness. It's still not gonna work. I played that wrong. Totally played that wrong.
Quickly.
Job done.
I guess I'll put Marble Race on my wish list, and we'll just keep an eye on it and see if that could possibly turn out to be a good move. Still not getting victories, but we are playing the cards that need to be played, so just need to play a bunch of mechs and priest cards, and then we'll be done. TechRaptor has an article: romantic comedy comes to Kingdom Come Deliverance in the new DLC October 16th. There's new DLC coming out for The Witcher 3 pretty soon too. I feel a bit of shame, honestly, that I could never find a place where I'd want to go back and play. Like, I just don't want to play the DLC for The Witcher 3. I definitely enjoyed The Witcher 3. It's just, I don't know. Once I was done with the main story, I was just done with it. That often is the case. As far as Kingdom Come Deliverance, it's a game I haven't even started. So yeah, I really don't know why or how I would play The Witcher 3 in the future to do the DLC. Because I'd have to bring about a save file and skip all the main game stuff and then get back into the whole fighting mechanic and everything. It'd be a lot of work. Yep. TechRaptor has the same article that is just phrased differently, so I do want to at least read the title here. TechRaptor's article says, quote, "Welcome to the new 90s," and quote, "Senran Kagura Burst Renewal will be censored on the PS4. TechRaptor, I feel, is anti-censorship a little bit more than any of the other news sources that I happen to follow. Yeah. So, let's see if they say anything in their article that's new or different. Let's see. Well, I can click on this not safe for work YouTube video, I guess, and see what the intimacy mode really was in this specific game. I saw some slight complaints about the Netflix series Big Mouth having a commercial on YouTube that was seemingly not age-gated appropriately, because it's a commercial that involved a lot of naked animated characters running around, and you would think that that would be age-gated or at least demonetized. I'm not sure if it really was demonetized or anyways. So yeah, there's definitely some double standards on what like big companies like Netflix can get away with on YouTube and what the average YouTuber can do. I'm looking at this intimacy mode. It does seem like it's pretty much just groping simulator. You can grab the girl anyway, put her in different costumes. You can slap her bust. That seems to be what the video is doing the most part of. And the characters responding to these interactions, and so yeah, this is not even on the level. I thought this might be the game where you have to massage the character, but it's not even that. This is straight up just groping. Of course, that's what you expect from a Senran Kagura game, or it's what you should expect from a Senran Kagura game. These are always been lewd games. You can slap the characters behind also as I skip forward. You can remove the bra to at least pasties. I'm not sure if you can get any further than that. There are several girls. as I'm skipping through all these videos. So far I haven't seen the offending girl, if there was an offending girl, as far as looking way too young. I think that's probably a misnomer. I think it's just the actions in general that Sony is having trouble with. Interesting, in this one mode, the player is rapidly clicking on buttons to grope the person and get some like huge combo going. Yeah, he's just clicking back and forth for a combo.
My power over you grows stronger yet.
Well, at least in this video, there's not a lot going on. It's more titillating than it is actually showing anything or showing any skin or nudity. But yeah, I think that's just going to be the new normal, is that Sony is not going to let that on the PS4. Let's see.
Let the pain speak to me.
Only have a couple more games to talk about. We have a game on Steam called The Masked Mage, which this looks like this is a hidden object game, but they're saying it's a Metroidvania game. Okay, I see what it is. It doesn't look very good. I'm not immediately wanting to say no to this game, but I'm getting very, very close just for the pixely low resolution graphics. A badly animated Metroidvania probably is a badly programmed Metroidvania game. He's also swinging a wand to hit enemies, which is probably about the worst weapon you'd ever want in a Metroidvania game, where you have very little distance that you could attack. It seems like there's not a ton of variety of enemies or places to look. It's 15% off for $8.49. So then the question would come down to, has this developer made something else that's been reviewed well? And the answer to that is no.
Medicine insects. Medicine insects.
There we go. Gematsu has an article. Sega shares updated sales numbers for Persona, Megami Tensei, as in Shin Megami Tensei, Yakuza, and more, aiming for simultaneous worldwide releases. Persona at 9.3 million sales, Yakuza at 12 million and more. So, let's see. I want to play a mech. So we want to do this. We want to heal this. We want to probably should have played this first. And here. And I could play a 2. So they have a list here. It says acquired intellectual properties. The Megami Tensei series since 1987 has sold approximately 12.4 million units or downloads. The Persona series since 1996 has sold approximately 9.3 million units. The Etrian Odyssey series since 2007 has sold approximately 1.9 million units. It's interesting to see the different series laid out in numbers because it's kind of hard to tell sometimes from a Western perspective what games are popular and what aren't.
I don't need any of you.
The Total War series since 2000 sold approximately 22 million units. The Football Manager series since 2005 sold approximately 18.1 units. As for Sega's, yes, this is Sega, in-house intellectual property is how they list this. Sonic the Hedgehog series since 1991 has sold approximately 800 million units, which is way higher than any of the other numbers. The Puyo Puyo series, like Puyo Puyo Tetris, since about 1991 has sold approximately 27 million units. The Yakuza series since 2005 has sold approximately 11 units. The Aladdin series since 1989. It's a little surprising to even mention the Aladdin series at this point, but I guess Disney is going to try and make a new Aladdin live action movie, so maybe they will make a new game around that. The Aladdin series has sold approximately 570,000 units. This is from pachinko slot machines and pachinko machines and amusement machines across 14 editions. This may actually not have anything to do with Disney's Aladdin. It may literally just be an Aladdin series that I haven't ever heard of. The Beast King series from 2001, another series I haven't heard of, has approximately 490,000 units, again with pachinko slots and pachinko machines and amusement machines. Some enemy minions. Play this in the turn. The Phantasy Star series since 1987 has sold approximately 5 million, although oddly the 5 in this, the way this is typed, is F-I-V-E instead of just the number 5, where everything else has been in numbers. The Chained Chronicle series since 2013 has sold approximately 15 million, another series I've never heard of. And then their licensed third parties are Sega featuring Hatsune Miku Project series since 2009 has sold approximately 6 SIX million. And then the Hokuto no Ken, or I believe that's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure series since 2002 is approximately 2.74 million. And the Suten no Ken since 2009. I don't know what that series would be. It's probably a different JoJo's Bizarre Adventure series, unless I'm just mistranslating things completely. I'm gonna play these cards because they'll get things done. Suten no Ken, approximately 440,000 units, again with pachinko and pachinko slot machines being for both Hoto no Ken and Suten no Ken. Let's see. Elsewhere in the report, Sega discusses strengthening its collaboration between Japanese development teams with its oversized localization team, with the goal of simultaneously releasing the games worldwide as part of the Road to 2020 initiative, which everybody in Japan is doing the Road to 2020 initiative, or thinking about 2020 for the Olympics. Let's see. There's another quote here that says, well, not a quote, another piece of this article says, also, while not much, the plural use of, quote, games in the following blurb suggests that New Sakura Wars may not be the only new ideal IP that Sega is bringing back. So, basically, that's just more details from Sega having like a shareholders meeting and letting out a lot of information, which is interesting. Fingers crossed. I've almost done everything. I need to play one more game to play a couple more priest cards and a couple more mechs. and then I'll be done with the Asian account. I could theoretically drop back down to the European account. We have a game on Steam called Weaponry Dealer VR. Doesn't look like it's much of a game. It's a build your gun store, your weapon store simulator with some low effort asset flip games, low poly item pictures and things. Yep. If it looks like Roblox, if it looks low poly, you probably don't want to play it. Early access requires VR, 20% off for $7.99. Yep. Nothing there interests me. Not one bit. I'm gonna try to get both mech cards early on. Only have like 3 more games, and then that's gonna be it for the stream. I think that will work rather well. Next, we have a game on Steam called Space Hole 2018. This looks like a surreal looking asset flip game with some crazy color filters placed all over it. It's a marble rolling game and a flying game in the same thought. This does not seem like a coherent video game thought. Let's see. Early access, 35% off for $1.94. Let's see if this developer's made anything else. Well, they made Space Hole 2016, which was 95% positive of 40 user reviews. I wouldn't be surprised if trolls just voted that game out, though. Like, from what I'm seeing, there's nothing of interest in that at all. Next, we have a game called Drink Incorporated, which looks like a low-effort troll game of some sort. We've seen things that seem to be obsessed with drinks before. I don't know why that is the case. This doesn't even look like... Maybe it's an alcohol drinking, trying the mini game, Mario Party style game is the idea. Let's see. Early access needs a controller, $9.99. Has this developer made anything else? No. And yeah, that looks bad, so why would I want that? I'm gonna play that. Play that.
I comply.
Attack here. And then I'm gonna end the turn. And finally we have Chroma Shift, which I could have sworn has already come out. So unless there's multiple games on Steam called Chroma Shift, maybe this was reviewed by somebody first. You can see in the trailer, it looks like you're getting a little bit more detail and art. This could be an asset flip game still. It looks like it might be a platformer. It doesn't inherently look like it might. It's gonna guarantee to be bad, but also doesn't inherently look like it's guaranteed to be good. Having some dark screenshot syndrome problems, certainly. Looks like it's very committed to training the player to use the keyboard. 15% off for $10.19. This game is. Let's see if this developer has made anything else. I'll be generous and put this one on the wish list and see if it gets reviewed. Let's see. And that leaves us with no more games to cover. So on the Humble Bundle store, the overwhelming positive game is bundle is about to end in 17 hours. There is no new bundle for games. This looks like a new comic book bundle if you wanted to get the first collections of some of the Tank Girl series in e-print. The problem with any of these comic book bundles is I think like it would be very weird to buy the ebook versions of these series, decide you really love the series and then want the prints, or it'd be very weird also to buy this prints, decide you don't like it and get rid of it. This is an interesting bundle because it literally is all just going to Tank Girl. So if you don't like Tank Girl, the Tank Girl bundle, I guess is what it's called, is definitely not for you. I don't know. If I had more time, I would consider playing, reading Tank Girl. Like, if I had a lot more time. Let's see. Should have played that first. The only bundle that slightly interests me is the Humble Discovery Pack. If somebody was to buy this and gift some of the games they're not interested in, like Phantom Brave or Ruby, in particular War for the Overworld, those are the three that catch my attention. That's $10 though, and right now I just don't think I can budget buying yet another Humble Bundle for $10. Found out, by the way, that you can pin tabs on Steam, Chrome, so you can just right click a tab and pin it so it won't get moved around. That's hopefully going to prove itself very useful in a relative short amount of time. Let's see, let's play this. Play this.
Is someone injured?
Play this.
I comply.
Attack here. Play this. Play this.
Job done.
And in return. Let's see, reload the page on Amazon Prime. Seems like there's no new Prime giveaways today to mention. So that just puts us back to Twitter as we wrap up here. I doubt on this Monday that anything amazing has happened. So that's all news. And I just want to continuously play cards that I know for a fact are
Like to play with fire?
like priest cards.
Right away.
That's what I'm looking for, is priest cards.
Job done.
Gearbox Official retweeted some more Borderlands cosplayers.
Ooh, I wonder what this does.
A whole group of them, not a big deal. Man. Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, tweeted out great feature on Derek Blasberg and his efforts leading fashion and beauty at YouTube. The article is Derek Blasberg on his plans to merge YouTube with the fashion industry. Wow. Is that really what that next word is? Industry? That is crazy. Just total insanity. Yeah. I don't think... Like, sure, there are fashion people on YouTube. The idea that YouTube would solely become a fashion...
Right away.
fashion industry conglomerate is insane. Susan Wojcicki. 25 years ago, I took my first computer science class. I realized how creative coding can be. Glad to see at Codeberg focusing on creativity with hashtag Hour of Code. And this is code.org. So she's just promoting things as normal that have nothing to do with any real YouTubers. Or YouTube, really. Trying to take YouTube into some insane direction. She's got another hashtag Hour of Code tweet. She's been on a tweet storm. She really doesn't tweet that often. Let's see.
Right away.
See, do I want to draw more cards? I guess I might as well. GameIndustry.biz, Paul Allen, the co-founder of Microsoft, dies at 65. Noted businessman, technologist, and philanthropist, passed away of complications from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Only very tangentially have I ever heard of Paul Allen. Like, his name sounds slightly familiar, which is odd, certainly, to say, considering he's a co-founder of Microsoft. Let's see. 2 damage to all other minions, or 3 damage to all other minions. Let's see. Got a what's on Steam game we don't really need to talk about. We'll save that for Wednesday. Dead Space Episode 11 aired on my channel. Still not getting the thumbnails embedded. I got another confirmation from YouTube support saying, hey, yeah, this may take a while, we may never get back to you, so just sit tight. And like, yeah, that's kind of what I expected.
Beware the shadow.
Wow, I might actually get a victory here. Gamma Sutra has an article, cancelled version of Shenmue HD remaster shows what it could have been. I think Shenmue 1 got remastered in a different way, so the cancelled version is kind of non-important. Let's see. How can we do this?
Beware the shadow.
Is someone injured?
He still has 14 cards he can draw from.
What is my purpose?
I'm out of cards.
I'm out of cards. Layers of Fear episode 13 aired on my channel 4 hours ago. I believe that should put me really close to all the episodes I have for it.
Right away.
Like, we should be close to being done with Layers of Fear. Gamma Citrus and a job listing we'll talk about on Wednesday. And I I believe I've hit the point on my Twitter feed where there's no new news, because now everything looks the same. The 7th guest, episode 11, aired 5 hours ago on my channel. We got those 2 done. Good. So yeah, no new news. No more new news on as far as Twitter. We're in the perfect place to wrap it up. The only issue is that I think I need to get one more daily quest done on the European account, and that is it. So everything else should be good. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites like Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, Google+, Steam, or Battle.net, all of those links are down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game or a gift card, or you can support me directly through Patreon. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.